but we move on to week number 16 in the National Football League as the season is slowly starting to wind down, which is kind of hard to believe. But we will start 2 nights from now, a big matchup in the NFC West, and may very well determine who the number 1 seed in the NFC is as we head towards the actual postseason. We have the 11-3 Rams, a 1.5-point road favorite at the 11-3 Seattle Seahawks. Your over/under is 44.5. This one, of course, Thursday night, 8:15 Eastern time on Prime Video. Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I think I talked up the Seahawks a bit, and I think the Seahawks are in a real good place from a franchise standpoint, right? I feel like from a let's build towards the future. Whether or not Darnold's your guy, I think he's serviceable at least for the next few years till you go find someone to fill in behind him. And I think they're in a real good spot. A lot of young talent behind the old talent, and I think they're going to be fine. As for this game, I think they're in a bad spot, and I think it's they kind of struggled, like you said. The Rams did not again, despite the fact that they had their wheels spinning a little in the first quarter. They look like the same old Rams, just going out and beating up a NFC rival / challenger. And the game means more for the Rams because the Rams lost an overtime game in LA to the Seahawks earlier this season. So obviously, if you dip this one with 2 games to play, you're worse than in a tie, right? Like you pretty much have a couple of must-win games there. So I expect McVay to come with all the stop. This is a playoff game for the Rams because you may as well. You're costing yourself probably 5 spots in the standings if you drop this one. So yeah, give me McVay to be prepared. Give me Stafford to be prepared. Obviously, a little risk on the Devontae Adams front with some injuries, but I think the Rams, while it'll be close early, I think the Rams pull away late. Give me the over, though. I know this is 2 great defenses, but I feel like the Rams' offense is not afraid of a good defense, and will put up enough points that this thing just pushes over. But Rams all day.
Yeah, similar drops to what Chicago and Green Bay did, just at different points in the standings. You're going to go from the 1 seed to the 5 seed. If you lose this game, so it's the reality for both teams. As Mike checking in with us in the comments, going on.
Mike?
Hope he's having a good night.
Putting together a better performance here in the comments than Joe Burrow did, but we don't have to talk about that.
Give a shout out to Mike starting a new project here on the feed. The 5 burning questions, of course, with a little play on his last name there. But that usually is going to drop later in the week. A little bit of kind of a supplement to what we do here on the weekly show. So he's just going to kind of look at some of the pressing things in the world of sports that stick out to him. Sometimes he'll have a guest, sometimes he won't. But go ahead and make sure you're subscribed on podcast feed, on the YouTube channel. Everything will drop in all the usual places. So thanks, Mike, for starting that up on the feed, buddy. As for this game, yeah, look, it's been a theme for me throughout the year. When I look at a matchup that I feel like is pretty even, and certainly when you have a 1.5-point road favorite, it's about a field goal or 4 points going that direction. But I feel like these teams are pretty well tight, and we've seen what happened the last time that these two got together. So even with the injuries, I just feel like the Rams are in a better spot. Again, maybe it was an anomaly. Maybe you don't know how to prepare for a 44-year-old grandfather starting at quarterback on the other side. I don't know what it is, but Seattle didn't look impressive at home against a team that's worse than the Rams. I'm not going to slight the Colts, but they certainly are not as good as the Rams are. So give me the Rams on the road, cover that 1.5 and get the victory. But I do think we're going to see some points here. So I think we're going to get a over. May not be by a lot, but I think we do see 45 or more. Then we move to Saturday. NFL Saturday games begin this week for the rest of the regular season. We have the 9-4-1 Green Bay Packers. They're 1.5-point road favorite at the division leading 10-4 Chicago Bears. You're over under on this one, 46.5. 8:20 Eastern time Saturday night on Fox.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one. The last game did not disappoint. I thought the two teams played very evenly, and I think even despite the loss, I think it was a game that gave the Bears a ton of confidence because I feel like, you know, you had just come off a win against Philadelphia. People said, well, yeah, but they stink this year, even though, you know, by, you know, no means would anyone have discredited the Bears if they lost to Philadelphia, but they didn't. And then you go into that game and they're like, well, this is a red hot Packers team, and you kept right with them. So this could be a fun one. Being in Chicago and a chance to maybe not bury the Packers, but get them darn close. I'm gonna take Ben Johnson and the Bears, man. I just feel like despite the fact they lost a few weeks ago in Green Bay, I like the system he's calling. I think Caleb Williams looks better every week. The touchdown throw to DJ Moore last week that was cross-body to the other side of the field. There's less than 10 guys in the NFL that could make that throw with the kind of accuracy he did.
Yeah.
And he's starting to feel the confidence. And I think having the home crowd with him and the excitement of an important game late in the season at Soldier Field, this is going to be a hot ticket. And I think it's going to be worth it. Give me the Bears and give me the
Bears.
Over. No Micah Parsons, of course, probably a big storyline and another reason I like the Bears in this game. And because of that and just generally the excitement of the game, I'm going to take the over here.
Yeah, chilly but no weather in precipitation on Saturday night in Chicago, so low of around 22. So actually for late December, it's a little warm for the Windy City. Yeah, look, this is going to be a tremendous environment in Chicago, playing a lot better than we've seen them play in a long time. Big injury on the defensive side for Green Bay. Big injury on the offensive side. Not sure what the status of Christian Watson is at this point. It landed very awkwardly on his arm. So the Packers could be losing important pieces on both sides of the ball. And I understand that it was playing a bad Cleveland Browns team. But Chicago did to a bad team what good teams are supposed to do to bad teams. And we haven't seen the Chicago Bears do that to anybody in a very long time. So
keep in mind that Cleveland Browns team, their defense is like fourth in the league in scoring allowed. So
that's
to
true.
hang up 30 on them is no, I mean, that's no easy feat. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So looking at the two teams, I think the Bears are trending up. The Packers had a couple of good weeks, but are either flatlining or starting to trend down. So give me the Bears at home to cover and to win. And yeah, I think we get the over too. The Packers are going to have to keep up with a high-powered Bears offense, which feels very strange to say, and one that might be able to run and pass on them with the key pieces missing there. So once again, Bears going to pick up that.
Bears.
Sunday, 1:00 Eastern time on Fox, a game that at this point of the year, with the way the teams are trending, could almost decide the NFC South. The 7-7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a 3-point road favorite at 7-7 Carolina, who is donning the throwback field and slightly throwback logo and everything for Sunday's game. Not quite as neat as the creamsicles in Tampa, but we'll have a 90s feel nonetheless. Your over-under is 45.5 Sunday, 1:00 on Fox.
Man, probably the sleepiest first place game I have ever seen. I mean, Jesus, man. The Buccaneers lose to the Saints, come out flat again. Panthers chance to go up by a full game, lose to the same Saints.
That is a disgusting act.
Let's just give the division to the Saints. But anyway, it's the most boring game for first place until the Steelers play the Ravens in Week 18. But yeah, I mean, on the plus side, both teams, have their flaws, so it's possible this is a very competitive game, and both teams know what it's for. I mean, there's no wild card for the loser of this game, so. Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the one thing that I know, and that's you have a young Bryce Young who's still putting it together. starting to build some chemistry with his wide receivers, but we've had a few stumbling blocks. But he does love the middle of the field. He has a couple of good tight ends on the team and some running backs that can catch balls. And if you watch the tape on the Buccaneers over the last few weeks, one of the big things they're struggling with is the ability to cover anything between the hash marks. You saw what happened to them with the tight end last week. Kyle Pitts put on a collegiate show against it was unbelievable, and no one could stop him. I know the Panthers don't have a Kyle Pitts, but give me the Panthers and that struggling Buccaneers defense to push the Panthers ahead on this one. The cover and win, but I think it's going to be a struggle, and I think it's going to stay under 45.
Yeah, I think if you're going to look at this game at all, I think just tackling that under is probably the safest way to do it. Neither of these teams is very good. The division isn't good. You look at the Buccaneers, we know they've lost to the Falcons and Saints in the last 2 weeks. You go back a little bit further, they've lost 5 of their last 6. Now, granted, 3 of those were against the Patriots, Bills, and Rams, but their only victory in the last month and a half is a 3-point win over the Cardinals, who are one of the worst teams in football. On Carolina's side, kind of a surprising loss to the Saints this past week, but you had a win against the Rams, a close game against the Niners. You beat the Packers, you beat the Falcons in the past 6 weeks. So, and I know the Falcons aren't good, but I guess it feels like the Panthers are just playing a little bit better that's now.
What I feel. Yeah.
Like Tampa's the better team, but it's just not working. And I don't know if we're just at the point where the players sense that it's the end of the line for the coaching staff, or what. I feel like I don't remember if it was last week or this past week or the previous, where the only person that seemed to care about the team losing on the sideline was Mike Evans. It just everything seems to be going in the wrong direction. So
I think if you're the Buck, he's the guy you got to hang your hat on this week. It's
sure.
Coming back. He put on a show last week as best he could. He's a week healthier. He's got to be the motivator in the locker room, or no one else is going to be. You're right.
Yeah. So just because of the trends, and here's that word EJ likes, is optics. Give me Carolina at home, and really kind of putting a big warning light over a Buccaneers franchise. I will take the under because, again, these teams are just bad. And last one, a game that should be much different than the Bucs and Panthers. Sunday, 4:05 Eastern time on Fox. It is the 10-4 Jaguars. They travel to 12-2. The Denver Broncos, a 3-point home favorite. Your over/under is 45.5.
Yeah, this one could be exciting, and I think on paper it's one of the most exciting games of the weekend. I do think there's a bit of a laugher risk here. Jacksonville has looked very strong. Trevor Lawrence has looked very strong. But they have done it against a moderately weak schedule here of late, with the Jets, a banged up Colts team, the Titans, the Cardinals, the Chargers as they were rising. And then before a loss to the Texans, it was the Raiders, and that's what they had coming out of the bye week. So really, the only test they had was one that they lost to the Texans. But they're beating these bad teams impressively, and so obviously belong in a precipice far above them. This is going to be a big test for Trevor Lawrence, and it's going to be a big test for whatever that offense looks like with Jacoby Myers. You're going to have to find some stability with the running game. Probably going to have to use all the heads behind Trevor Lawrence, and you're going to have to block well. I'm gonna stick with the favorite here. I think the Denver Broncos are a way deeper team and a way more experienced team, and have a way more experienced coach in these kind of situations. So give me the Broncos to pull this one out. Though, from just like a fan perspective of watching a team that's been playing well, getting a chance to prove himself, no problem being wrong with this one. So Trevor Lawrence, go out and get it. But yeah, give me the Broncos to cover this. And at 45.5, because the Broncos,
the Denver Broncos,
because the Broncos have one of the 3 best defenses in the league probably, and the Jaguars are sitting right behind them, not by very far. Bo Nix may struggle a little bit too. I think this one's going to stay low scoring. I think I would bet the under on this one too. And it's rare that I take the under this many times in today's football world.
Yeah, but it's just kind of where we're at with some of these games, some of these teams. Shockingly, weather doesn't seem to be a factor. I pulled it up. I figured,
That's the other thing is weather doesn't in any of these games, and I'm still taking the under. Usually that's what does it.
But I thought, Jacksonville going out to a colder climate and everything. It's supposed to be sunny and 60 in Denver on Sunday.
There you go.
So,
bringing the weather with it.
So no winter weather to contend with in this one. Both these teams playing really good. Jacksonville is really starting to click. And at some point, and if you're a Denver fan, I know you'd really want and hope to be able to get that number 1 seed. But at the same time, like you got to feel like maybe you're stretching your luck a little thin. So at some point in these final 3, and not once you have everything locked up, you might want to get a loss. And I think that actually happens this week. So give me the Jags to go into Denver and actually pull off the upset in this one. I think they feel more pressure behind them. And I know the Chargers are right there behind the Broncos as well. So a lot of tight races involved in this game. But I like the Jags. I think everything is going in their direction right now. So give me them to win. And I think we get a slight over as well. I think if the points stay lower, I think it might favor Denver just a little bit. But if the offenses start to open up, I actually kind of, and I never thought I'd say this, trust Trevor Lawrence a bit more than the guy on the other side. So give me Jacksonville to pick up a big win on the road in Denver this weekend. But yeah, there's a lot of other games. It's actually kind of hard to select just 4 for this week. There's plenty of big football around this weekend.
There is.
So as much as the college slate, we really are not thrilled about. Plenty of good stuff in the NFL to go around this upcoming weekend.